Privetja, Stradujcie. Thank you very much for inviting me to this very interesting conference. Natalia, especially Natalia from the head of the Nomadic Center for Multilingual Education in Russia. We are collaborating with the Nomadic Center. Thank you very much. I'm delighted and very inspired with this possibility. Let me talk a little bit about how do we met. Basically, there was a conference in Mexico City, the conference for the launching of the Decade of Indigenous Languages of the UNESCO that launched it last year, and it's going to be launched officially this year or next year in 2022. And the conference that Mexico organized regarding this event, this launching, is what's called Languages at Risks All Over the World. So I witnessed the intervention of our Russian colleagues, and I was very interested in nomadic languages. So nomadic languages called my attention powerfully, and I found it as a very fascinating, interesting context with very specific and also interesting parallelism. So there are things that are very specific to Russia, to the Arctic, and very specific things to Mexico and other countries of the world, of course. We share common dilemmas. Basically, the dilemma that we share and we're trying to face together is reversing language shift. How do we reverse language shift? How do we change the narrative in terms of producing a new narrative, a much more proactive narrative in favor of linguistic diversity in a variety of contexts? So after being so interested in the Russian situation, specifically in the Arctic, then I read Natalia's paper, who she shared in academia.edu, and then I made some comments to Natalia regarding how to develop curriculum, well-formed curricula and informed materials that are culturally sensitive and that are useful for the communities. So after that, I made some comments to her. Then I wrote an email, got in contact with her, and started working together. I was delighted with the idea because I explained Natalia basically what we do, that it's developing a method of indirect revitalization in Mexico and in Latin America as well, an indirect method of revitalization. And I'm delighted with the idea that we can replicate, adapt, and adopt this methodology to the Russian, to the Arctic context. So as you know, there are different methods of revitalization. One of them is this method that we developed, trying to replicate it with you, producing materials with children. As you know, children are the future of endangered languages, and we should work much more with children, favor their empowerment, and teachers as well, of course, highlighting their own resources, their own epistemologies, how to bring those epistemologies to the fore in new formats and recreate them for the sake of the empowerment of their communities and linguistic diversity. So the objective of this kind of materials is, in this case, we're producing a book with augmented reality, a multimedia book that's going to have animation, and you're going to be able to hear the voices of the kids, the teachers in languages such as Evenki, and with this new technology of augmented reality that would allow the teachers to generate dynamics to empower the communities with their active participation. The method of indirect revitalization means that the participation of the actors themselves is a prerogative of the actors themselves, and that they are co-authors. They are authors of the books, in this case the children. So thank you very much for being here. I hope we are seeing you in the future, and this community of practice will help us stabilize our languages and promote them for the future and defend our linguistic rights in the Arctic and worldwide. Thank you very much. Peace linguistics for all. Stradujcie.